Welcome to Court Farm Chickens. Today we're going to be looking at cockerels and can we stop them from crowing. Okay, for this video we've got a Peking Bantam cockerel. I'm using him. He's a bit smaller than sort of full breed cockerels, but I'm using him because it's easier on a smaller bird to demonstrate, but the principle is the same no matter what the breed is. So first of all, how do you know you've got a cockerel? Well, there's 3 telltale signs apart from the cock-a-doodle-doodling. The first is obviously the wattles and the crest there. When I got him on his own you wouldn't know, but when you've got him with the females, comparably this is much bigger and more prominent. Second way is the tail. Hens of any breed, it does differ between sort of the larger fowl and the bantam breeds, but hens have a more tight tail, imagine like a bun, like a hair bun, so it's compact or rounded. Cockerels is very flowy. Now this particular boy and breed, it's smaller. Some are very extravagant, very long tails, and they quite often have iridescence like greens and things in there as well. All right, mate. Okay, the other thing, which is less obvious, but once you notice it, it's very obvious and can actually be used in early sexing of chicks as well. And it's the feathers on the neck. Only cockerels have these very thin feathers. They're called different things depending on who you talk to, but they're thin feathers, and it's to do with protecting their necks when they fight each other. These feathers sort of, they pull out quite easily to allow them to get away from the other cockerel. That's your main things. You get other signs as well. This guy hasn't got any, but on the wings you get flashing, which they use when they're displaying and fighting. Sometimes get like green, again iridescence like the tail. This fella doesn't have that. And the spurs, which is because he's a bantam, he's got feathers on his feet, so it'd be quite difficult to show you, but cockerels have a large claw at the back, which again they use for fighting and defense as well of their hens. So purpose of the video, can we stop them from crowing? Well, there are several things that people do to stop cockerels from crowing, and we'll cover them, and then I'll get to my personal opinions on all these methods. So your first method is something called crating. Now this is when your hens go to bed, you don't put the cockerel in the bed with the hens, you put them in a very small box or crate. Obviously they need to be able to breathe, but the idea is it has a very low roof on it. When cockerels crow, there's no way this one's going to do it for this video because that would be too much to ask, but when cockerels crow, they stand upright, they throw the head back, head up, and they take a big in breath, and then they expel it all in this crow. By putting a very low ceiling on them, it stops them from being able to tilt the head back, so they can't get that in-draw of breath, so therefore they can't crow. Does this work? Yes, but only for the amount of time they're in the crate. You can't keep a cockerel like that, so only overnight. So what that does is it stops it crowing at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, upsetting your neighbours. The second you let it out, it will crow. So all you've done, if you've got issues where a cockerel is crowing very early, you can alleviate that. But then this poor guy has got to spend all of his nights squished like this. Is that right for the welfare of the bird? I don't do it. Another way is blacking, and you black out the coop. So wherever they're sleeping, so now he's got enough space but he can't see a damn thing, so absolute pitch blackness, because they only crow when they see the dawn, the sunlight. Does this work? No, utter myth. Cockerels do not crow when they see the dawn or the sunlight. Yes, most cockerels crow in the mornings at dawn, but that is because they hear the bird song of the wild birds. It has nothing to do with the daylight. So even if they're in their dark room or coop or box or whatever, they're still going to hear the songbirds. and therefore they will crow, because they hear the songbird singing and they go, hang on, no, this is my territory, here's my song. Nothing to do with daylight. Some cockerels only crow in the mornings, some cockerels only crow in the evenings, some cockerels all day long. Some do it 2 o'clock in the morning for absolutely no reason whatsoever. It just depends on the bird. You can have a bird that doesn't crow at all and you think, oh, brilliant, and then one spring comes around and that's it. He finds his voice and doesn't shut up from then onwards. So other ways of stopping the cockerel crowing: a crow collar. Now, depending on where you live, are these legal or not? Now, that's your first red flag for a crow collar. If some countries have banned these and made them illegal, then you have to question that even if your country hasn't, should you be using them? There is a reason other countries have banned them. The way a crow collar works is not like a dog collar like I've seen described in other videos. A dog collar is purely for identification. It does the dog no harm if used correctly. A crow collar fits very tightly around their neck. Now, this neck looks huge, but all of this is fluff, feathers, it's show. A crow's neck is not much thicker than my thumb. So to get a collar on, you are talking really tight, like that. And they're normally made of Velcro. It's basically just strips of Velcro, really. And you put it on, yeah, mate, and I'm obviously not squeezing the bird tight. So you put it on round there, like that, but you draw it in tight, all right, mate. What this does is, again, it's the same as the crating. Even though he can now get his head back, he can't get the breath in because of this collar. How can that be correct? It can't be. Now, I was under the assumption that they were banned in the UK, and I've done some Googling before the video, and I don't know. Some videos, some results, yes, they're banned. Other places, no. And you can buy them on Amazon. Does this mean you should be using them? No. Even if they're not banned or not illegal, it's a very grey area, because you are stopping the animal from displaying its natural behaviour, which in any care of animals, you don't do that. Every animal, pet, whatever that you keep, you have to help it and provide for it so that it can display and exhibit its natural behaviours. By putting a crow collar on, you've stopped the bird being what the bird is. So it's not right. If cockerels didn't crow, they would be an extremely popular pet. Of all chicken breeds, it doesn't matter what the breed is. You look at the females, then you look at the male of that, they are beautiful. As most birds, the males have all the flashy colours and feathers and all that. They're really nice birds. But the crowing and the way we live in terrace houses and things is obviously a big problem, because the noise, it's not bearable. Even here on the farm, we still get complaints, problems, because it's piercing, and people don't like it. So people say, oh well, a crow collar, yeah, okay, it's not very nice for the bird, but the alternative is killing the bird. Yeah, it is an ethical, moral, however you want to put it, conundrum. Should you be going around killing cockerels because they make a noise? No. I'll be forced into that position. Fortunately so. But that's humans, not the cockerel's fault. So, can you stop a cockerel from crowing? Yes, you can, in the ways I've mentioned. Should you? No. No. Because you've got a bird that you want, but you don't want everything that that bird does. If you want a cockerel, but you don't want it crowing, then it's a bit like they say, if you want a German Shepherd but don't want to walk the dog, don't get a German Shepherd. You can't have a cockerel and not have it crow. You have to realise that. And also, if you've got a cockerel and you've got hens, that means you're going to be breeding, whether you want to or not. You will be. Those eggs will be fertile. Now, you could collect the eggs, you could take them away, but hens are clever. Hens will lay eggs secretly away from you that they know are fertile, and they will sit on them, and then you will have chicks. If you've stopped your main cockerel from crowing with the use of a crow collar or something else, your chicks are going to be male. you are going to have. It's a 50-50. If you've got 12 eggs, likely you're going to have 6 male chicks. Well, what are you going to do with them? Put crow collars on all of them? The reality of life is harsh for these guys, and I wish it wasn't so, and I wish people were a bit more accommodating, but that's it. They are noisy. So if you want a cockerel, accept they're going to crow. Learn to enjoy the crow. I don't know, but no, do not use barbaric methods of putting them in dark places and low ceilings and crow collars. It is not right. Okay, so hopefully this video's been of help. Appreciate probably not the answer a lot of you were looking for, as you want an answer to stop your neighbours complaining or the council off your back or what have you. But unfortunately, dogs bark, cockerels crow. You accept that and get on with it, or don't have a cockerel. Simple as that. So I'll put this little guide down. Thank you for watching. We've been Cook Farm Chickens, and we'll see you on the next one.